What's up, YouTubers? Mama Killa B here, coming fresh out of the movie theater after watching Logan. It was definitely, in my opinion, I felt like it was better than X-Men Apocalypse. Grittier. It's definitely more violent. It's overtly more violent. It's rated R, whereas the X-Men franchise has been known to be PG-13. So definitely the violence and the blood factor has been pumped up and magnified, and it's pretty awesome because the whole point of Wolverine is that he has these blades that he could just destroy you with and just literally decapitate you, and it's never been shown in cinema before until now. Jackman's last portrayal as Logan, or Wolverine as we've known him, he's been playing him for the past 17 years, since 2000, when the first X-Men film came out. The first X-Men film, I would say, is a predecessor to just the whole comic book genre, which has really obviously has a formulaic pattern now. And then, once 2008 came around and Iron Man came out and the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was established, and once Disney is just amazing at just making like the most profitable and also really good films at the same time, but they play it safe, and the X-Men franchise has never really been woven in, has never been woven into the MCU, so they are divorced from Disney. They're run by 20th Century Fox, which also did Deadpool. Deadpool was the first like rated R, really in your face comic book film that we've seen. And now we have Logan. The thing about Logan is that it's inspired by a lot of Western films. I would have to argue that it's leaning more towards a Western noir. And if you don't know what a Western noir is, the best way I can put it is, film noir, like those kind of like detective, like, I'm investigating the murder of so and so. Those type of Humphrey Bogart films, woven into that classic Western genre. And what makes it so distinct is that the hero isn't always a black and white hero. It's a very gray area. He's not, the all-American, cowboy, I'm here to save the town guy. He has a lot of issues. And I think this is best, this was best portrayed with Clint Eastwood's character, the man with no name. So Logan has a lot of references to the film Shane, and it actually plays a really big part in defining what Logan is seeking after, what his purpose is within the X-Men universe. So at this point, X-Men are gone. It's I believe the year is 2029. There's been no signs of New Mutants in 25 years. The Weapon X project kind of like helped build soldiers, not kind of, but definitely helped build soldiers, breed soldiers rather, for the purpose of being, just weapons for the military and the government. So we meet Laura, she's very much like Logan, and then she turns out to be kind of like the person that he passes the baton to. It's interesting that they decided to say farewell to the character of Wolverine in this way, because it's he's always been he's the anti-hero. Even at first, when when Professor X first found him and recruited him, he was not the type of guy that plays by rules, or that plays well in a team. He's a very Lone Ranger type guy, and this was absolutely magnified in this film. And I think that's why they referred so much to the Western noir genre and to Shane. Everyone's gone, and it's bleak. It's a bleak future, and I found it even more disturbing than the future that they try to portray in Days of Future Past, where it's very like futuristic. But really, like, is it really gonna be the last time that he plays Wolverine? The timeline is just so fucked up. I never watched the Wolverine, which is another spin-off that came out in 2013, I believe, or 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But I watched X-Men Origins, which was a huge disappointment, considering how they handled Gambit, considering how they handled Deadpool, which is why, when Deadpool came out with his own film, I was like, yes, they finally got it right, with Ryan Reynolds, who, by the way, was born to play Deadpool. But I don't know, like, it's just all over the place, because at this point, the First Class cast has clashed with, the original cast in Days of Future Past, and there's alternate universes everywhere that we don't really know about. I mean, this could be another alternate universe. I'm theorizing here, but I don't know for sure. And mind you, I am not a comic book aficionado, so if I get any facts wrong, I apologize. But that's not my foray. I have watched the movies. To my understanding, this is based off the Old Man Logan graphic novel that came out. It was a little bit unnerving to watch Wolverine just so beat up. It was really cool to see the self-reflexive nature of the movie. What I mean by that is that they brought in the comic book lore, in terms of, like, there's literally comic books from, like, X-Men comic books in the movie. That, Logan holds a comic book up, and it's, like, it's cartoon pictures of him, and it's basically, like, it's telling the audience that the X-Men have been immortalized. They've been idolized. They've truly been made into heroes. At one point, you even see a little mutant boy, holding a toy of Wolverine. Wolverine, like, based off the comic books and the cartoon series from the 90s. And when I saw that, I was just like, what? That is so cool. And the thing is, Logan sits down and he reads some of the comics, and he's like, you know what? This shit, that's not how that happened. They're finally acknowledging that, rather than these, because over the years, the whole X-Men franchise, so much shit has happened in terms of cities getting destroyed and, people dying, but then ultimately them coming through and saving the world. Like, for them to bring in the actual comic books is a really fascinating turn, and really, I think, was really smart of the writers to do. On a side note, Boyd Holbrook as Donald Pierce, you, my boy, are a force to be reckoned with. So overall, I would have to say that Logan, aesthetically, I've found to be so reminiscent of so many films that I studied in Western Noir, like Clint Eastwood movies and Shane and High Noon. And then, the film closes with the Johnny Cash song, which was perfect. I definitely recommend it. It's a really, really good film. Definitely veering in a different direction that the X-Men franchise hasn't gone to. So Logan is definitely a highlight, if not one of the best X-Men films I've seen. It's up there with X2, even though it's very different, but it's still up there in terms of, like, just the quality of the writing, the cinematography, the story, all that. And the acting was really good. He understands the character better than anyone else at this point in terms of portraying him on screen. And he wasn't even originally cast. Wolverine is supposed to be a shorter, stocky guy, and Hugh Jackman over the years has progressively gotten more and more physically buff and just strong, and he's really tall, so over the years they always had to like kind of use camera tricks to make him look shorter. So he wasn't the ideal guy to play Wolverine. But I'm sure Bryan Singer and the casting director saw something in him that just really brought it home. And I cannot imagine anyone else being Logan, or rather Wolverine. And in terms of what's going to happen with the X-Men franchise, I don't really know at this point what they're going to do with it. Super excited to see if they do bring Wolverine back, how would they go about that? But, I mean, I don't know if they really want to go there. Homies are coming back from the dead left and right. Or even Professor X. That dude died in part 3 in The Last Stand. Did he not? And then he came back. I will marry Boyd Holbrook. I'm just putting that out there. What do you think, Lucy? Can they go see Wolverine? She says yes.
You just a killer, boo. She's sleepy. She's sleepy. She wants to go to bed. Okay, let's go to bed.
Yeah.